In November of 1803, the streets and churchyards of Hammersmith became the setting for a series of terrifying events that gripped the local community. Residents reported sightings of a ghostly figure, and some claimed to have suffered direct attacks. The apparition was believed to be a restless spirit of a man who had taken his own life the previous year. At the time, societal and religious beliefs dictated that those who died this way were denied burial in the consecrated grounds, their souls thought to be condemned to wander in unrest. The cultural fear added a chilling layer to the events unfolding in Hammersmith, making the stories all the more horrifying to contemporaries. Eyewitness accounts described the ghost in conflicting ways. On some occasions, it was said to be an imposing figure dressed entirely in white. At other times, witnesses reported more grotesque features, the spirit wearing calfskin garment topped with horns and large eyes, creating an image both bizarre and terrifying. Such contradictions only heightened the fear among the local population, leaving residents unsure of what they might encounter in the darkened streets. The ghost's attacks, as reported, were particularly shocking. 2 women, one elderly, the other pregnant, were allegedly seized by the apparition while walking near the churchyard. The encounters were so traumatic that both women reportedly died from shock within days of the attacks. One of the more detailed testimonies came from Thomas Groom, a brewer's servant. Groom recounted an encounter late one night around 9 p.m. while walking through the churchyard with a companion. From behind a tombstone, a ghost supposedly emerged and grabbed him by the throat. In the struggle, Groom described the sensation of something soft, like a greatcoat, brushing against him as he pushed back with his fists, unable to see the figure clearly. The growing terror of Hammersmith culminated on December 29th, when William Girdler, a night watchman, reported seeing the ghost near Beaver Lane. According to his account, he gave chase as the figure threw off its shroud and vanished into the night. With London still lacking a formal police force, fear rippled through the community. Citizens gripped by panic organized armed patrols determined to capture the phantom that haunted their streets. These patrols, armed with whatever weapons they could muster, patrolled the area for weeks, reflecting the intensity of the public's fear and the extraordinary grip the ghost had on the imagination of Hammersmith's residents. The events left a lasting mark on the area, blending folklore, superstition, and the very real terror of a community confronting the unknown. Tales of the Hammersmith Ghost circulated widely, feeding the public's fascination with the supernatural and embedding the story into London's eerie history. At the corner of Beaver Lane, on the night of January 3, 1804, a routine patrol would turn into a tragic case that would shock the local community. Around 10:30 p.m., William Girdler, the night watchman, encountered one of the armed citizens now patrolling the area in fear of the notorious Hammersmith Ghost. The man, 29-year-old officer Francis Smith, was carrying a shotgun and declared his intention to hunt the supposed apparition. Girdler agreed to join him after he called the hour at 11 p.m., with the grim determination to take the ghost if possible. With that, the 2 men parted ways, setting the stage for a fatal mistake. Shortly after 11 p.m., Smith crossed paths with Thomas Millwood, a bricklayer dressed in the clean white clothing of his trade, linen trousers, a flannel waistcoat, and a white apron wrapped around him. Millwood was returning home from visiting his parents and sister in Black Lion Lane, completely unaware of the tension brewing in the streets. According to Anne Millwood, his sister, immediately after seeing her brother off, she heard Smith confront him in a panic. "Damn you! Who are you? What are you? Damn you! I'll shoot you!" In the darkness, fearing he had encountered the ghost, Smith fired his shotgun, striking Millwood in the lower left jaw and killing him instantly. The sound of the gunshot brought William Girdler, along with Smith's neighbor John Locke and a man named George Stowe, to the scene. Smith was reportedly very much agitated, and upon seeing Millwood's body, the men urged him to return home. A constable soon arrived and took Smith into custody, while Millwood's lifeless body was removed to a nearby inn. On January 6, a surgeon named Mr. Flower conducted a formal examination. he determined that Millwood had died from a severe gunshot wound to the left side of his lower jaw, inflicted by small shot. One of the pellets had penetrated the vertebrae of the neck, damaging the spinal marrow, leaving no doubt that the shooting had been instantly fatal. The case sent shockwaves through Hammersmith. What had begun as a fearful hunt for a ghost had ended in the real-life horror of an innocent man's death. It became one of the most infamous incidents of its time, a night where fear and misidentification turned deadly. Francis Smith, the officer who had fatally shot Thomas Millwood, was brought to trial at the Old Bailey, charged with willful murder. The courtroom was tense as witnesses recounted the fateful night. Among them was Mrs. Fulbrook, Smith's wife, who had testified that she had warned him to cover his white clothing with the greatcoat, having already witnessed him mistaken for a ghost on a previous occasion. Millwood's sister also testified, describing how Smith had called on her brother to stop, but fired almost immediately, leaving no time for clarification. Despite numerous statements attesting to Smith's generally good nature, the Chief Judge, Lord Chief Baron Sir Archibald MacDonald, reminded the jury of the harsh reality of the law. Malice was not required for a murder conviction. Intent to kill alone was sufficient. All killing, whatever amounts to murder, unless justified by the law, are in self-defense. In cases of some involuntary acts, or some sufficiently violent provocation, it becomes manslaughter. Not one of these circumstances occurred here. MacDonald made it clear that Smith had neither acted in self-defense nor shot Millwood by accident. The supposed apparition provided no legal justification. Frightening people in a ghost costume was, at most, a minor misdemeanor, not a capital offense. The judge emphasized that Smith's previous good character held no weight in the case. The jury initially returned a verdict of manslaughter, but MacDonald rejected it, instructing them that the choices were murder or acquittal. The jury reconsidered and ultimately found Smith guilty. Smith was sentenced to death, but MacDonald planned to appeal to the king for clemency. The sentence of hanging, drawing, and quartering was eventually commuted to 1 year of hard labor, a strikingly lenient punishment given the severity of the crime. In the aftermath, the truth behind the ghost of Hammersmith emerged. The real culprit, John Graham, an elderly shoemaker, admitted that he had been using a white sheet to scare his apprentice, who had been telling ghost stories to Graham's children. Despite causing a man's death through fear and misidentification, there is no record of Graham ever being punished. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video entertaining. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out and lets you know when new content drops. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.